Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Ralph's Automotive. I was actually asked to make this video. This is going to be a semi-short video. You ask, what is a semi-short video? Considering the scope of this job, I'm going to say this is semi-short because I'm not going to show everything, just how to basically do what I'm about to do. And what I am about to do is, we have here a cylinder head off of a VQ35DE Nissan. And what I'm doing is I'm going to clean up the chambers a little bit, and I'm going to lap in the valves. We'll put the cams back on. The cams has already been taken off of it. We'll put the cams back on, check the lash on the lifters when we get done. So first things first, let me turn this around, make sure we can see. Okay, so here you can see, they can get you a little bit more level, might make it easier to see this. Okay, here you can see that we've got the cylinder head. And my big body out of the way here. Okay, so here we have the cylinder head. As I was saying, the cams have already been removed. So this is the part, the front bearing cap. Let me get you zoomed back out so you can see everything. This is the front bearing cap. Already been removed. Alright, trying to get you perfectly in the shot here. So we'll set that aside. I cleaned up the top surface here. We use, there it is, I used a air tool with a blue Scotch-Brite. However, be very, very careful in this front area where the main bearing cap sits. Do not grind on that. Barely touch that. That is a machine surface. You got oil galleries in the cap. They're through here. If you grind on this surface and make that uneven, bye-bye oil pressure. Just a fair warning. Check this surface when you get done later on. Make sure that everything looks like it's sealing real good. These do not get sealant underneath, only on the corners. I guess I add that in there. The corner gets sealant, and of course the face gets sealant, since Nissan and of course other manufacturers use a silicone sealant. I'm not going through the whole thing, but this is what I use. This is an Optimum Gray. That is, I believe, the best equivalent to the actual Nissan sealant. This is good stuff, and undoubtedly other stuff will work too. This is what I recommend. If you do the job, whatever you use, I'm sure will be fine. Don't know. This is always what I've used. That's what I continue on using. So we clean the surface up, and the next thing that we want to do is pull the cups, the lifter cups. We want to pull all them out and make sure that you don't mix up the cups. We will be checking lash later. Don't know if the camera would ever pick this up. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you can read it, maybe you cannot. But inside, there is a number. In this case, it's 802U, meaning that actually equivals to a size. So these do not need to be mixed up. So with the head sitting here on the table, we just put one after another. These are intakes. We'll set them down just like they came out. Okay, I'll show you another one here if the camera will pick it up. This one is 806U, so this one is actually a thicker cup than what the other one is. So don't mix them up. Try not to. I mean, it doesn't, if you're gonna check lash, it doesn't really matter what you do with the cups. However, if the lash is okay, which I suspect this here is gonna be fine. This is not that old. We're doing this as a precautionary thing. I'm not gonna explain the details on that, but anyway, odds are this is fine, so I'm going to try not to mix them up. We will be checking lash. I'm going to keep the camera rolling when I do. So the next thing that we want to do is disassemble all of the springs and valves. We get that all undone. Now, there is a little bit of controversy on people. Some people will tell you, well, you number everything and put everything back where it came from. Actually, that is not true. It doesn't matter. Unless you have an actual application where the parts are different. If the parts are equal, these springs, top plates and all that, if you going about it like a machine shop would, all of this would have to be qualified. They put it in a big basket, you know, they shove it in a washer, they clean it all up, wash it all up, dry it, and then it gets put on a press most of the time to see the spring pressure. If the spring pressure ain't correct, they discard the spring, you replace it with another one. We're not going to worry about that. I don't have a machine shop here. We're not going to do that. All we're doing is disassembling, clean up our chambers, and I'm going to lap the valves. That's all we're going to do. You're going to have a hand lapping tool or whatever it is you're using. More than one way is, I guess, to skin a cat. This is what the Nissan heads look like. VQ35DE, as I said. Word of precaution, if you get a little scratch in these bores, that's not really going to hurt it, but try not to beat these bores up, because they're all clearanced, you know, they all have tolerances. You don't want to mess with that. You cannot go in there and polish. You know, odds are once you do that, the head's messed up. You're going to be replacing the head. You know, it's aluminum. It doesn't take a whole lot to take metal off of it. You know, any little bit, it's not a good thing. So be careful with that. If you worried about it, you know, they sell, I don't know where I seen it, but they sell plastic sleeves that sit in here that protect that bore. I don't even remember where I seen it. I don't use them, but may not be a bad idea. If you ever want to make something like this here, piece of pipe, I notched it with a grinder. And what we do with it is we can set it up on top, pop this one time. You can mostly do that by hand. And there's your first spring. Make sure you track them keepers. Don't lose the keepers. These things are tiny, tiny, tiny. I have a hard time putting this damn things here together. My fingers are so big, and as you can see, I mean, that's nothing. I normally have a hard time, always curse a few times, and normally get it done, however, you know. I can't hardly grip them to turn them or anything. Well, they're so small, but anyway. That's basically how we get them apart. Make sure when you use a piece of pipe like I do, make sure it's sitting square. Make sure it's got a good square end. Make sure you deburr real good so you don't hurt your hand while you're doing this. Hammer works better, by the way. Just to tell you that. Like a dead blow. Probably works much better. If you use a closed pipe, that's fine. I sometimes use this to put it back together by pressing on it like this here to put them back together. We can do that. Anyway, moving on. That one playing a little bit hard to get. We'll get a dead blow and see if that's doing any better with a dead blow. Just for the sake of stacking them the way they came apart, we can do that. That's fine. Like I said, there should be nothing wrong with none of this. So this one playing hard to get as well. That's it for the exhaust side. Back up, that's it for the intake side. Do the exhaust side the same way. The idea behind all this is the same. So for the sake of keeping the video short, I'm not going to do the exhaust because it's the exact same thing as the intake. Head's a little bit dirty, not to worry. For the time being, same here. Put the valves on the table. We've got everything that's loose on the table other than on the bottom our little shims that the springs sit on. They are the same. We do want to get those. Want to get them out. So now then, when we flip the head, there's not going to be no parts that are coming flying out of here. Now would be a real good time to port and polish. Nah, just kidding. So we can clean up the underside. Now I don't want the air compressor to kick on, so I'm not going to do that part of it right now. I'll come back and do that later. Where is my little... Oh, I'll put it on the charger. Hang on for me. So I got this little Dremel tool that I'm going to use. And I am going to bring you in here a little bit closer so we can see what I am doing. Okay, get you a little bit higher. May make it a little bit easier for you to see. But anyway, what I normally do, oh, this has got a cup wire wheel on it. I get all those at the not Harbor Freight, but the Rural King, and I go in here on the valve seat, and we can go in here, and guys, look at that. I mean, instant clean. That's a heck of a good job cleaning up. And we can go in here and clean the ports all out. We don't want to get too aggressive. You know, that Dremel, perfect. That's a heck of a job. So, the next thing, of course, after everything is, normally I disassemble everything and put it on the table, as I said. Next thing I would do is go ahead and pop. I'm going to go ahead and flip that again for you. We'll flip it right back around because I'm not going to do that right now. We don't have to do that. But over here, we've got valve seals. Valve seals should always be replaced when the valves are removed out of the cylinder head. We've always replaced valve guides, so replace your valve guides. They have installation tools. They have pliers to pull them off fairly easy. I would normally, we're going to flip that head for convenience, and then flip it right back around. I normally use these. Don't know if I can show it to you with the camera being in the way. I twist them first, whoop, and be careful on that bore like I said, but I twist these a little bit, and normally these come right off. It's much easier to do if you use a proper tool, I can tell you that. And the installation tool is good because I'm not even going to take it out of the package. There's little springs on the seal. If you don't have a tool to properly install these, a lot of times them seals go on, they can go on crooked, they can pop that spring, they can bend that spring, that renders that seal useless basically. Now you no longer have good contacts on the valve, and we don't want that. So at this point in time, I'm going to flip that old bugger back around. Like I said, we just did this for convenience. I removed the valve seal on this one here, so let me go ahead and clean that up a little bit. Won't hurt nothing for me to do this real quick. Like I said, that thing looks a whole lot worse than what it actually is. This ain't nothing. Comes clean, cleans right up. So now you know how to get that done. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to do a much better job here in a little bit, but I don't want to put all it on the camera. My videos are always so daggum long. Make sure that we're all the way zoomed out. Yep. Alright. Okay, we're zoomed all the way out. Get you down a little bit more level again. On the valve, so we're sitting this way, just like we have it. This is the valve that actually goes in there. We need a little bit of air now. I use my wire wheel to clean the faces. Making sure you don't get yourself. You might want to put some gloves on or something. Then we'll go to the opposite side. Do not hit the stem area. If you hit the stem area, you're going to have problems. So we cleaned it up. We've got areas in here that are pitted. Okay, I normally prefer Clover compound. That's the brand name. I normally prefer it. I'm out. Locally, I can't get it. I have to order something, so I went ahead and just got the tube of the Permatex valve grinding compound. Doesn't make a difference. It's all the same within reason. I mean, it's not the same, but this stuff here works fine. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I didn't say that because there's anything wrong with it. Damn, I did get myself. All right. So we'll put a couple of dabs of that grinding compound. I had a little bit much come out of that tube right there. Not ever a good idea to glob it on there. A little is a lot when it comes to lapping valves. Like I showed you earlier, we need to have a tool. Hopefully this tool will seal. raise up and rub. You're raising the valve up and then go back and forth. The reason you're doing that is so the compound can seep back down in there, get the actual grinding part of it, get it to do its thing, do what it has to do. If you keep just rubbing in one area, it quickly doesn't grind anymore. I had a better tool of these here. I've actually warranted this tool here a while ago, the PT line. That's unfortunately from O'Reilly down there. They are not much. You try to wet them a little bit. They're just not a very good lapping tool. They make a lot better lapping tools than this. Have a hell of a time getting that to stick. But listen, I'm not going to talk. You listen to the camera, you can actually hear it grind. Magnet. So at this point in time, we would take a clean rag. This is the thing about patience. We wipe it off real good. And what we need to do is inspect the actual seat and get you a light, investigate on that. Try to show that to you. The gray area, excuse me, the gray area, you see it's got some pitting, but the pitting doesn't go all the way. This will actually seal up. We're going to go a little bit heavier on the grind or on the lapping, and we're going to call this good enough. For what this will be, that's going to be mine. That's not a customer's. This is mine. That's off of a Quest that I'm going to use for a work vehicle and a loaner for the shop. So don't worry about that. I wouldn't give that to the customer. I'd replace those valves, but there's no need or not replace the valves. I would send it to a machine shop and have them grind everything and blah blah blah. Of course, at that point in time, we'd be replacing the cups. Cups about 17 to, well, actually anywhere from $14 to $24 a piece if you got to get them sized. But anyway, inspect on your seat to make sure you don't have pitting on there. Make sure everything looks a medium gray. I'm gonna call it a medium gray. Like I said, this doesn't look good yet. We're gonna lap it a little bit more. I'm sure it's gonna come in real nice once that's done. Well, I'm gonna go a little bit more. Let's go ahead and do a little bit more. Man, that stuff is just oozing out of there. What? And try the little side again. I recommend don't get a PT tool. It's junk. some valves they work fine. Just for whatever reason, these valves here doesn't work all that great. So. You know, refrain from using power tools. I'm not really a fan of using the power. I'm a fan of power tools altogether, but I think there are some tools out there that use like a drill or some motion like that to do this job. I don't know that I would want my valve stem running in the guides like that, not spinning that fast or anything like that. But you can make up your own mind on that. Some things are better left undone and unsaid, I guess. So I'm gonna opt to go the hand lapping. And that altogether is not worth a hoot. And the valve is good and clean. I don't see no nicks in the valve, so I don't know. That thing just doesn't cooperate at all. You can tell, actually you can tell right now that our grinding compound is about gone, as it doesn't have that grinding action anymore. So we'll wipe this off. We'll do it again. Be thorough when you do wipe that off. Remember, that is grinding compound. It does what it says it does, what it's supposed to do. It'll grind when you get it inside the engine too. So make sure you clean your head real good after you get done, so don't have no problems. Okay guys, we got our pits covered. It's all in the middle of the gray area, so I think we're going to be good. Once you get this job completed, all the way completed, put your spark plug back in the hole to seal these holes up or whatever. You can do something from the top with sealer, don't matter. It doesn't matter at this point in time. Stand your head up level, and you can use any kind of, and this is a little bit of a trick. You lay the valve down in it just like this. You don't do anything else to it. Make sure it's seated. Make sure all four of them nice and seated. Make sure your center hole is sealed. You can get any kind of penetrating lubricant or diesel fuel, anything that'll creep, and you fill this chamber up and let that sit. And I guess I think the rule of thumb on that is, not with it not having any pressure on it, if it sits there for 5 minutes and hasn't leaked or leaked all the way out, you're good. You're absolutely good on that. That's one of them, I guess that's one of them old-timer rule of thumbs, so to speak, you know. But anyway, if the creeping oil, whatever you got, is not going through there and runs out, you're good. I mean, that means that your system is going to be sealed later on. As this thing sits, don't want to lie, I'm certain it was somewhere in the 175 psi range that it was pushing before, so that's certainly not going to make it no worse. But for this part here, yeah, I don't guess I got anything else to tell you. We'll go ahead and clean everything up now and get everything prepped. I'm not going to film that part of it. Later on, when I start putting the valve springs back in, I will turn the camera back on and we'll look at how to assemble. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make this a part 2. It's much easier for me to upload the these shorter videos. We'll just make a part 1 and a part 2. I'm going to end the video here today. We'll get all that cleaned up, and we'll continue. Once all that's cleaned up, lapped in, we'll continue from there. So until then, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I mean, we're not anywhere near on the subscriber count, so give us thumbs up, thumbs down, you know. If you got a comment, you know where to leave it. We appreciate every subscription, every comment, you know, good or bad, we'll take them all. Thanks for watching.